Well, hello there. Hi. Welcome to the trading desk on Watchbox Studios. My name is Joshua Thanos, and this is my Lord and Savior, Jason Main. How you doing, bud?
I like that a little bit better. Welcome back, guys. We're here. We're live. It's not a trick.
Yeah.
We're
Unlike
here.
last week, we're live here.
Yes. We are back in Philadelphia.
That's right.
We're here.
Yeah. Last week, I had to make an emergency trip down to Miami. And so we played some weird commercial that we filmed a few months before. So
Yeah. So
I heard you guys loved it, and I love you for loving
raving
it.
reviews, although we did get some business out of it, so thank you guys. Yeah, that was never meant to be aired on our
the channel.
show.
Yeah, for the show.
But interesting choice. We're rolling with the punches. We thought we'd get back to regular scheduled Friday programming with some watches.
Yeah, man.
Let's do it.
Cool. So, hey, well, let's start with what you got on your wrist there, buddy. I heard you got something new to you.
It's new to me. It's previously loved. So this is the...
Jason had to one-up me, or one-down me.
One down you. And I made this decision, and I was going to go ahead and do it. Let's see if we can... once the new one came out, and I was going to go with the one that Josh got.
Well, what is this, by the way?
So this is the actual Bond. This is a 41 millimeter, the original Seamaster Professional.
Omega.
Omega, yes. And this is what you would call the Bond. It has the wave dial. Actually, you know what? Let me get you a better shot. I'm sorry.
Look, there's patina, and it's not water damage.
Yeah, it's not water damage. It's nice. I like the patina. Found it. There you go. Nice cream on the dial. So I went old school. Look at the wave. And this is for you guys 253180. So this is the first iteration that has the automatic movement.
That's nice.
So yeah, for me, this watch was always kind of cool because Pierce Brosnan's my Bond, and this was the first. Actually, the automatic was in his second movement. But yeah, cool.
I wonder if
This is the 1120 movement.
I wonder if when using like tritium on for loom, if they knew it was going to fade like that, and if they thought, like, all right, well, people just have to send it back in to have it reloomed over and over again, and then it just became a thing where people like to keep it.
There's some kind of Swiss tritium conspiracy?
No, not conspiracy. I just wonder, like, if when using tritium originally, right, if that was a thought, or if they didn't realize it was going to fade, because it only lasts probably about 5 or 6 years, right?
I don't think it was a thought, because back then, I mean, you were trying to make something that was going to last hundreds and hundreds of years, and I don't think the service industry was as prominent as it is now. So I don't know. I would say probably not. But
so you think it was just like an accident, and then
happy happenstance.
Happy accident. Yeah, I mean, because we like tritium, we like faded tritium, we like faux tritium, faded tritium, faded superluminova, all that stuff.
I found this.
You can't see it
for myself
you can't see it
as a deal, but I did not find it at the bottom of the ocean, unlike Josh's watch.
That's right. So here we go. Let's get it. So I have my PAM 002. It's an A serial, so it's a hashtag 2A. And this one does have water damage, hashtag patina. And this watch was found at in the ocean off the shore in Jamaica, and I bought it from a hotel owner. And I had the hand swapped out, so I have a little bit of loom, but I love it. I won't sell it. This is roughly 20 years old or so. And I have it on the deployant clasp rubber strap, which now this does not come standard. That deployant clasp does not come standard on any Panerai. So it's a nice watch. Full not brush, but that's what I'm looking for. Polished case. Sorry. I need more coffee. So yeah, full polished case. I've already beat the hell out of this watch since I last refinished, and I don't think it can take another refinishing. You can see like the lugs are thin, the bezel's thin.
Yeah. Probably need a new bezel if you're going to do that.
But we'll see. I thought about it, but I don't know if I want to start replacing part.
A pretty significant restoration, didn't it?
Yeah. Well, the movement was all rusted, so we sent it back, and it's been
But it's been pretty true since you got it back.
Yeah,
you wear it on a pretty constant basis.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I've been wearing other things recently. I like this watch a lot though, and serves me well. I love it. Manual wind. I think this is really. Like Panerais for a while, like a Panerai like this for a while would have been like close to a $10,000 watch. Now it's back down to 4 or 5, probably where it belongs.
So the thing with that watch is back in the day when Panerai was at its height, like that's a watch the 002 that Panerai guys would have went crazy for, right? Like early A, that's an A, right?
Yeah.
So early A's, like that would have meant something back in the day. Not so much anymore. And
like there's less guys going for like the vintage pieces, which It's good or bad. Yeah, this one is halfway through the run, so mine's right around 400 out of the 1,000 that they made that year. A would be 1997. So.
And this guy is going to go. You might not see this for probably a week or two, because this is actually going to get a full service kit.
Oh, yeah,
because it's
running.
The
movement in there's fake, right?
It's running a little slow. It's still water resistant, kind of, but I'm going to get it all tuned up.
Yeah. Cool.
Awesome. So that's wrist shots, and when we talk a little bit about what kind of show we're going to have today.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, so our Black Friday show was a pre-recorded show, and it was all Omega. It was like a Unibrand show.
Right. Yep.
And it was kind of like a last-minute thing, but actually we had a great time talking about the brand and exploring it that way. And I think that we look at watches singularly, and like from model to model, and like a lot of times when we think of a brand, we think of only one model. And I think that we forget kind of the range that a brand can deliver. So I think we're going to do let's do another show and talk about another brand that a friend of ours, good friend of ours, likes a lot, or liked a lot. I don't know if he's still.
I think he's still in love. But yeah. So to reiterate Josh's point, that show was pretty well received, and it was fun for us. And
it was easy.
It's kind of cool to take a step back and look at how wide of an offering, one brand can make.
Right, because you forget about certain models, right?
Yeah, we went over sport and dress and all the stuff with Omega. So in that regards, we're going to touch on JLC today.
Cool.
Right? And we brought some cool watches.
We brought some JLCs.
We brought a bunch.
You can see like the range here. So last time we talked about Omega, and we had everything from Seamasters, Speedmasters to golden brick tourbillons, the crazy crap,
the
right?
Golden,
But the one thing though,
awesome.
the difference is like Omega, everything kind of felt like an Omega, right? So they all have like a similar feel, whereas JLC I think has a little bit more of a broad range. So their sport watches are sportier, and their dress watches are dressier, and then like their complications are more complicated. I feel like
I would agree with that. There's probably not only a price difference, but a different build structure. I would say all quality, but you can definitely see the mentality in the design process switch. So some things are meant to be, a little bit more dainty and refined and flowy, and other things are overbuilt and robust. Yeah. So it's kind of cool in a different type of aesthetic.
So let's start with that Reverso, I'd say. So something that's I would say the blue one.
The blue?
Yeah. So something that's very specific to JLC that no other brand does. A few other brands have tried in the past, but no other brand does. So this, I guess, maybe not to everybody, but to me it represents the brand, is the Reverso, right? So let's get a close up. What's that?
Arguably,
it's got a blue dial. It must be worth
Reverso.
a lot.
So yeah, this is stainless steel. You can see there, beautiful blue lacquered dial, and this is a duoface, so it's both day and night. And so you got blue and white, very dressy, very pretty piece.
What's the other side's white?
Yeah,
nice.
You got it on the white dial there.
So that shows. So this is this a tribute piece?
This is a special edition. Yeah, it's a.
What's it? Tribute to what?
This is the reference is the Q37885.
Okay.
So this is like the 1931 case.
Oh, okay. So it's 1931, which they made like in a grape dial. They make it in like a vintagey looking dial.
You
and
may
then they
have
have this
seen,
blue.
Which one was the red? Was the Rouge?
Like the Rouge, yeah, like grapish.
That watch is a pretty hot secondary market.
Yeah.
They did the the London edition with the green, which is very sought after.
I like green dials.
Yeah. Very pretty watch. So most people first Reverso is something like this, a duoface, because like the point of having the Reverso.
What's market price on something like that?
Market price on this guy is right around, I'd say, $10,000.
Okay,
yeah,
so that one's 10, but if you want to get a Reverso, so the cool thing about the Reverso and like the story behind it, right? And actually, that'll be a segue into our next watch I'll talk about. But so the watch has a specialized case, which the watch movement is actually housed in a case that separates from like the case itself, right? And it has two movements sandwiched together, facing opposite ways. So, or for most of them, some of them are just solid case specs. which basically you have two dials. So this would essentially work as like a GMT, right?
Of course, yeah. So I mean,
that's what it works, right? So and they do reversos with different styles, so different types of complications, different price points. But the first reverso was made for polo players, right?
Yes.
That's the story.
So the closed case back, and the structural integrity of the watch was based on the fact that you could throw the case over and not worry about breaking your crystal.
Right.
Yeah.
So and in fact, the first reverso was actually in the Squadra case because it was a sport model. So let's go ahead and get a. There we go. So this is a World Timer Chronograph. Yeah, I love this watch. Yeah, I know you don't like it. So this is the Home Time Chronograph Squadra. So you can see the difference in size. Look at these. So you have what most people think of when they think of a reverso, and then you have the Squadra, which not a lot of people think of and not a lot of people like. But so the first model was a big squarish case like this, and it was a little bit more robust than the traditional reverso that you see here. And when you flipped it over, it was solid, and it was so that I guess if you took an impact from a polo ball, or from a mallet, that it didn't destroy your watch. This is what I've been told. I think Tim might have told me this too, so it's got to be fact, right? So you can see the range just in this model here. So you have two watches that, in my opinion, define the brand, right? The Reverso, okay? And you have a wide range in that. You have a dress watch, absolutely without a doubt, a dress watch, but a watch that can be dressed up and dressed down. And then you have a sports watch. I wouldn't say that this is a dress watch in any way, shape, or form. And then you also have two very different complications, right? In the larger case, the Squadra. And what's I think the retail price or the market price for this one is right around the same, so about 10 grand. So, you can see kind of the value retention in those two, because I think this watch actually has over $20,000 retail, the Squadra, but it's a little bit
the Squadra has, just like every other reverso, has a lot of different flavors. It's available in different ways.
Sure.
Just the basic home time, I think, is probably the nicest thing if I was going to have a Squadra, but
you find that one for like around 6 or 7 grand.
There's something about that case, it just doesn't do it for me. And I mean, thick. I understand people love the Squadra over the regular Reverso, and I get that.
I don't know most people. I mean, I like it, but
there are people that say, like, I won't wear a regular Reverso, but the Squadra does it for me.
Sure.
David Butler in our office, that's his favorite watch.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why, but I don't think he knows why, but that's his favorite watch.
Oh, interesting. So you can see, and I've seen also the Squadra coming on with the articulated,
the less awesome Squadra,
rubberized bracelet, which a lot of people don't like. Though I like,
not my flavor
as well. But so you can see. So we'll start with those, and then so if you go up range, so you can get a regular Reverso, just like a time only Reverso for probably like less than $5 grand. On the or on the resale market, you can buy the special edition for 10. You can buy a Squadra for in the same price, or you can buy this World Time Squadra around 10 as well. So you can kind of see the range, and then you can buy something really special, which is this watch.
So once you buy, a day night, once you buy a Squadra, and then maybe you have both, you buy a third watch, and then instead of those 3 watches, you can have one watch. So here, I'll give you a background on so this is a limited edition. All right, that's white gold.
Here, I'll put. We need to put some of these on the wrist too. By the way,
I want to do this so you can see all the way through.
Somebody called us a sellout for last week's episode. I mean, it was legitimately a commercial. So I don't know. I mean, though we didn't get paid for it, so I don't know if we're sellouts. So it's the worst kind of sellout. We didn't get paid for it.
So this is going to be much closer to just over $35,000. Double skeletonized.
What's retail on that? Do you know?
Edition. I wouldn't even.
Is that steel or white gold?
No, it's white gold.
Oh wow, that's nice.
Same size as the day night, so truer to standard Reverso specs.
Yeah, it's very dressy.
Very, very dressy, limited edition.
Conversation
so this
piece.
Is not your first JLC.
Certainly not.
Right. But it goes to show you that you can have the same attention to detail, but a little bit different build, and go from something like a day night to something full skeletonized white gold.
Yeah. Well, those 2 watches could be an entire collection, right? You can have something, and you can put like on a Fagliano strap. You can put that day night on like a brown Fagliano strap, and now you have something you can dress down and wear with jeans too. Though I guess you couldn't. It's not a full collection because you can't wear anything that's not like truly sport. You can't wear either of those watches to the beach. Though this Squadra is not that either because it doesn't have a screw down crown. So here, let's see on the wrist. Squadra on the wrist. See, it's not bad. I have about a 7-inch wrist. It's not bad, man. I mean, it sits
But it wears
high.
like your Panerai.
It wears, similar to a Panerai. So what's the problem with that?
No, just so for most people.
You got a problem with that, Jay?
I just want to, let most people know what it's going to wear like, and it's going to wear like a big watch.
That's true. Well, because it is a big watch. That's what it is.
Not so much because of the amount of real estate it takes up, but it's a thick watch.
Yeah, it is. So, and then let's see here. Let's put this. Try like a day night. I like the blue. The blue, super nice. Yeah, and again, all these are gonna have in-house movements, so which is cool. That's one thing about Jaeger is that it's got a short strap, Jay. This is nice.
Is it?
Yeah, it's very short. I don't even know if I'm gonna show you because it's like, yeah, that looks weird on my wrist. All right, here, go ahead and get that wrist shot there. Yeah, the strap's a little too short for me, so it's like weird.
I also the watch is proportionally probably a little small for your wrist.
Yeah, that's true. But it's nice and dressy.
It's
and
a dress watch
once
for
you
sure.
break in that strap, it's really nice. So thing about Jaeger is that their dedication to in-house movements is kind of interesting, seeing as that they're part of a larger conglomerate. They're part of Richemont, right? So Richemont, which is a brand that a larger brand that owns, they own VC, Vacheron, they own Jaeger, of course, they own a Lang & Son, so they're going to, at the top end, they own Cartier, they're Panerai, IWC, and then so on and so on. There's a few other brands that they own, Roger Dubuis as well.
Just a few.
Right. So but they're a huge conglomerate, and they own Jaeger. And when you think of like large conglomerates, you think of like milled watches, right? Just like factory watches. But in-house calibers are usually not something you think of when you think of like a large conglomerate, like LVMH. So it's nice that.
Yeah, they're definitely not as. I mean, this is tiers above some of the other brands in their stable, but they don't feel. I think what you're trying to get at is they don't feel like Cartiers. They don't feel like they're punched out at volume.
Right.
Every watch, it's weird because at all the different price points that we have on the table, every watch feels like a significant handmade or hand adjusted kind of watch.
Sure. Yeah, it's not totally handmade.
No, but they give that feel of like a higher quality piece than you would expect from something in the numbers that these are made in.
So in that same like kind of vein, in terms of what we talked about with Omega as being value for dollars, right? So not value retention, but value for dollars. So what are you spending and what are you getting? Jaeger, especially on the secondary market, presents a pretty good value because you're getting, in-house calibers, interesting watches, and the brand genuinely cares about the watches, it seems like. And so on the secondary market, because the name brand recognition is not there as much as, say, like other brands like Rolex and things like that, you're going to get a better value, which is really cool, too.
So, yeah, it's essentially the same thing we talked about just, with the Omega, but one step up. A little better quality stuff, and so a step up in regards to the quality of the watches, but also a step up in regards to you're not buying it for bang for the buck, you're buying it for bang for the luxury. Like it's the next step into the watchmaking, which is nice.
And
actually,
from a brand also that they're probably making about the same amount of watches, maybe a little bit more than like Audemars does.
Yeah.
So Audemars makes roughly 40,000 watches a year. I think JLC is probably in the same production run. So again, if you put things in perspective, like a brand like Rolex that they don't release their numbers, but say people assume they make around 1 million watches a year.
Right.
So there's a little bit. They're a smaller manufacturer in that regard.
Sure. I pulled this because I really like this dial. So
this is the new Polaris, yeah?
This is the new Polaris.
So this is another, so now you go from square, very distinct, shaped cases and complications. Now you go to what they're releasing now, and now you have a Polaris Chrono, right? So this is the tributes to Polaris, right?
Yeah.
What's Polaris? I don't even know.
You got the granular dial, chapter ring, which on this watch really comes to life. It's kind of hard, and I'm hoping you guys can see that. So kind of a sunburst or satin in the middle, and then the whole outside chapter ring is this granular, kind of looks like gravel almost, and it really does catch the light really well. So this is this comes in a lot of different flavors. It comes in the 3-hand, it comes in the World Time, the Chrono, the both on bracelet on everything and leather on everything. I personally like the leather on this watch a little bit better than a bracelet. Bracelet's not my cup of tea. There's some things that I like about it, and there's some things that I would get nitpicky if I was spending $9-10 grand on a bracelet watch about. But exhibition case back, which is really nice.
All right, so in-house movement.
Pretty movement.
Yeah.
Well finished, for what it is. One of the things you can see there, which I don't like, is the way that this buckle. It's not my cup of tea.
You don't like a double point like that?
It's got these double retentions spring sets in the hinge, so you have to both pieces buckle into here. So like when you take this off your wrist, you have to hit both
at the same time.
These. Not at the same time. You physically can't do it both at the same time. Like a regular watch, you have to hit this one first and then the other one. Well, so it's just something. It's a learning curve type of thing.
I gotcha.
And then I would have liked to have seen screws in the bracelets. Not to say it's a bad bracelet. It's just pins? At that, yeah, they're pins. Just at this kind of price point, But
what's the price point on that again?
We have this is pre-owned. They're like $9 grand. So I figure. I don't know what the retail was. I probably should have had that.
I can look it up.
Here you can see that dial. I think a little bit better. Really pretty dial.
Dial's nice. Yeah, I know there was some demand for these when they first came out. I think it cooled off a little bit, but it's just going to be just like any other, JLC.
That's Q9028180 for anybody that wants to check that out.
Cool. All right, but you can see, so they go from, reversos and different ranges in the reverso to now something that's definitely sportier. It's a chronograph, in-house, double register chronograph, and then you can go from something like that to something that they're really known for is an alarm watch, right? The Memovox.
That's cool, yeah.
Yeah, so this is a vintage Memovox. I think I have the reference number here too. I have pulled up. Yeah, so this is the Tribute to Deep Sea Memovox. This one's the Q2028470. Go ahead and get a close-up on that one. So this is more of a, in the last few years, everybody's doing re-editions of vintage watches. There we go. And this was actually a pretty successful one. The original Deep Seas, these ones are going for crazy money. This is a watch that resells for in the low teens or so. Again, granulated dial, so you can see that they're putting care into everything there. And let's see if this is wound up. Can I get this go? Pretty loud alarm. An alarm is a great complication because it doesn't really clutter up the dial, and it's useful as well.
Well, the thing with that alarm, too, is there's plenty of alarms on the market that aren't tactile as well. Like, you can't feel them. That actually feels like a buzzing on your wrist. So
absolutely.
You can feel it and hear it. And so, not the loudest alarm, but it's definitely
a diving alarm, right? Alarm. I guess that's the
It's
idea
similar to how I would explain, like, the Vulcan. Mm-hmm. Like, the president or the cricket. It has that same tenacity to it.
Yeah. And then you have something like this. So, say if you wanted another diving watch that was a little bit more robust, you have these master compressors. Why don't you talk about that?
This is cool. This is the Master Compressor Extreme World alarm.
Yeah.
I did not wind this ahead of time, so we can...
You want it up right now?
Very cool on that blue offset tactile strap. I mean, very opposite of, the vintage-inspired piece that we just showed you. This is going to be much more modern and sport. You got your... classic Master Compressor crown guards there, so the roll locks, very cool piece.
Oh yeah, so yeah, that one. So
much larger watch.
And again, that's a watch that is unmistakably JLC, right? And somebody we know used to own that exact model.
Yeah, these are cool too because you have the quick strap, which I like on these pieces.
Oh, it's like the Cartier that I like. Let me see. It's easy to take off.
Yeah, it's not bad. You just pull down that tab. That's 46 millimeters, guys. That's titanium. So while larger on the wrist, it's going to wear a little bit better because it's titanium.
Oh, that's really cool.
I mean, not better than the Memovox, but you get the idea. Figure somewhere right around $9 grand or so. Those go for.
So let's see, this is a 46 millimeter?
46 millimeter case. Okay. Titanium. You got the alarm. You got dive. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So the straps are like super.
That strap's, I
think,
need
to be worn in.
New. Yeah, it's like
they need to be worn in, but you can kind of see it on the wrist. So another 7-inch wrist. There you go. And I could basically pull that off. I mean, see the lugs don't go over the edge of my my wrist, so I could definitely pull it off. Well, the person who used to own this model was much smaller than I. So
there's something about that specific.
It's beautiful with that blue
Master Compressor look. Yeah. That always reminds me, it's not the greatest comparison, but just what comes to my head is the Hamilton Crosswind. Like always it's the chapter ring along with the pushers that come off the case. Yeah. So anyhow,
Cool.
good watch.
So you have, this is a little bit more robust diving alarm, and say you just wanted a regular, just a diver, right? And
straight to business.
Straight to business. Then you have something like this. It's Master Compressor. So this is the newer style, so you can see the difference between the bezels. This is like an update, right? So diving GMT, so you know while you're 50 leagues under the ocean, you know what time it is in Asia.
Two times. So how does that work? Is that so like when you're diving underwater, if you cross
a time zone,
underwater?
That's right, Jason.
While you're strapped to a submarine.
Right. Yeah. It's very useful. This is a very useful complication.
It's like a moon phase
Everyone
on
needs
a dive
one of these.
watch. It makes so much sense.
Well, yeah. Who has a moon phase on a dive watch?
Blancpain. 50 fathoms.
Love Blancpain. Great brand. Super awesome. All right. So there you go. You can check it on the wrist too. So is this 44 millimeter? Yeah, 44 millimeters. So very much size like a Panerai. You have a very functional dive watch.
Flat on the wrist.
Very flat on the wrist.
It's going to wear better than a 46 for sure.
Oh, without a doubt. And this is what something that's pretty it's specific to JLC, which is this articulated rubberized bracelet. So it's either steel or titanium covered and coated in this rubber. And then see this, let's see if we can get it. So you have screws. Every single link is removable, which I think is fantastic. I love when I see a watch that has all links removable. So you can move them around here and there. You don't have to worry about it. And then say if you scratch up like a screw or whatever, you could always take that link out, put another one in.
Yeah, that's true, especially with something like that with the coated links. If one takes damage, you don't destroy the entire bracelet.
Think about the ASMR. Ooh. That bezel click, baby. Ooh. That's nice.
Sounds like you're trying to light a grill. That's what it
What if this thing just set on fire? All right. So here you go. So you have diving GMT, and again, a little bit more sporty, robust watch. And you can get, if you want a sport watch, you can have, very different, but all still very sporty watches here. You can see we have 4 of them there. Then if you want dress watches, they have that too.
Yeah.
Right? So what do we got over there, Jay?
This is something you guys may know. I don't know if you're going to really care about the most popular JLC that's on the table.
Is that what it is? You say it's most popular? Well, that one's white gold, yeah?
Yeah, so this is the Master Control thin.
Ultra thin, right?
Ultra thin. In
perpetual.
This one is white gold.
Yeah, which they make it in stainless too, which is not always the best, but not in that dial.
Right. This dial is pretty cool. Special piece.
Ultimate dress watch,
case back. Right? We should open that up.
Yeah, please. So, yeah, this is a watch. This is Dr. Strange, yeah?
Yeah.
But his steel?
Here you go.
With a cracked crystal. So you see finished, well-finished movement.
At the end of that movie you didn't expect him to fix the watch with his magic?
Yeah, he should have.
I don't know what's going on there. But beautifully finished. You can see all the work, even underside. Really, really pretty movement.
Yeah, officer's case back.
That's a cool watch.
So this is the epitome of the dress watch for JLC, I would say, right?
I would venture to say, like, once you've bought a few things, you start looking in, and then you're like, oh, you know what I want is the calendar. Yeah. That's a cool piece.
Well, it's like a somewhat inexpensive perpetual calendar. What's market price on this?
$18,000 or something.
So for less than $20,000, you can get a white gold perpetual calendar. Can you set this forward and backwards? No, right?
I would probably say not, since it's an older movement.
And it only has one pusher, so everything else is set by the crown, which is nice. And it's very sturdy. We all, like, for buying and selling watches for a living, we know which watches usually when they come in, we're like, oh, that watch is probably broken. This is not one of them. Like perpetual calendars, there's other brands, and when we get them, we just assume it's going to need a service because it's broken.
Right.
JLC Ultra Thin Master calendars here, they tend to always be working, which is nice. That's always a plus, especially when you have a perpetual calendar, because the cost is going to be usually pretty serious, and the time to fix a perpetual calendar is always 6 months or so. It's crazy.
JLC service is pretty reasonable, and then on top of that too, the movements, even though it's like a dressier kind of, they're not dainty. Yeah. Right. It's like a dressier watch, but it's still built with the same kind of robustness of a sport watch.
Right. I would say. Yeah. Automatic perpetual calendar. It's nice. Officer's case back. It's nice. It's a reasonable watch. Right. It's nothing crazy. And in white gold, you have a little bit of, what do they say? It's the look of stainless steel without
the stigma
of low cost. Right. So. Yeah, but they do make
low cost is the politically correct phrase.
So the
I'm saying that, yeah.
So they make that watch in stainless steel too, and you're probably going to pay about half that, right?
Yeah, I would venture to say.
Yeah.
Although the white gold is it's something on the wrist. It's nice.
Oh, yeah, it's nice. You have a little bit more presence.
Did we do
and
everything?
Then, no, the last watch, which is something that's very specific to JLC. This is also a watch that may or may not have been owned by a good friend of ours, and this is the Duometre. So this is the Duometre Chrono. They make World Time. They make what other Duometres do they make? They just make time-only Duometres, I believe, as well.
Also, we featured that Duometre some weeks ago with that granular dial.
Sure.
Which you can see from these other couple pieces barrel that we've featured. Oh, look at that movement. With the granular dial, that's JLC's kind of thing going way back in history.
Uh-huh.
But this arguably is the iconic Duometre with the black and...
Well, this is one that became iconic.
It's gorgeous.
200. I mean, this one's let's see if I can get the clear off. All right, so this one's a 200-piece special edition white gold with this black dial and yellow accents. This thing's fantastic.
That's a watch that I will fully own up to. I have hated on that watch before really understanding
You're
it.
a terrible person, Jason.
Well, I mean, let's be real about it. I never really understood the Duometre, never really cared for it. Just thought it was kind of a weird complication. And then when you play with the watch and you start, you put it on your wrist and you're like, wow, I should probably try and own one of these.
Yeah.
But price points, whatever it is, you just showed when you flip it over and you start looking at the movement.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's next level. I mean, to me, this is. When you start talking about like longue movements and like quality of construction and finishing and engineering,
yeah, it's getting up there.
When you look at that Duometre movement, it's beautiful.
Yeah, the Duometre is again, it's
you
like
almost want to wear it backwards.
There's so many watches I would say that are like very specific to JLC, right? So you have the Reverso, the Master Compressor is one of those as well. That doesn't really look like anything else, and like it's very noticeably JLC. But the Duometre as well too. So if you see someone wearing this watch, you know what it is. They make these in rose gold, yellow gold, white gold. They don't make them in steel, I don't believe. So, it's a higher in the price point, anywhere from a retail perspective, like in the 30s up to like the 50s, and from a resale perspective, from probably the low 20s all the way back up to the 50s, depending on which watch you're looking at. So you can get in a wide range. But so that's, you can kind of see, you can get a JLC for really only every occasion. And I know a lot of brands like to do that in terms of, having a wide range for everybody. But if I can't say that about Panerai,
Right.
So the brand is interesting. It doesn't get probably as much love as a lot of other brands, and I don't know if it should or not. But they make a wide range, and it's a brand that I think gets overlooked a lot. And right now, specifically in this market, there's a lot of value for dollars. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I would say that it's a brand that's relative to market is a good value proposition, and you can start to look at these type of pieces as alternatives to other brands that you can't get.
Right.
And when we're talking about that, I mean, when you look at, so this is stainless steel blue dial, right? What other watches in stainless steel with blue dials do we know that
go
are
for stupid
unobtainium?
money? So yeah, we talked about that with Omega, right? So again, if you wanted a blue dial sport model chronograph from Audemars Piguet, you're paying upwards of $30,000 now, Jason. More?
Yeah, it's
35.
And what if it's a 5711? What if it's a 15400?
Well, no. So an annual counter chronograph for Patek, which I guess would be the closest thing to this. I mean, we're not comparing, but a 5980s in steel blue dials that are discontinued are now $80,000 watches.
Well, essentially, I mean, case aside alone, if we're talking, just sport model steel blue,
sure,
that's going to be
$55,000.
That's going to be your 15400s,
right?
That's going to be your 5711s.
Sure. Well, I guess you can compare this to like a VC. So like the VC Chrono in blue is still a was that a $15,000 to $20,000 watch? I think. I haven't sold one in. So the VCs, recently. Yeah, the 3 came out, the 2 went up when the 3 came out because nobody wanted it, and then the 3 started getting hot now. So also a good watch. But point is, there's other alternatives out there. Josh was saying these kind of get looked over. I think the pieces that we brought out are kind of the highlights of what everybody wants. So we try to kind of curate that. But I think it's a good selection, and this is definitely not a gift watch. This is where some of the Omegas could have been gifts. Right, because Omega has a little bit more of a name, right?
This is the next step up. I think this is probably the entry level brand for a guy who's about to get serious about collecting watches.
Yeah, and
so
if you buy any of these, so JLC is a brand where if you buy a JLC, a stainless steel JLC sport watch on the secondary market, you're not going to lose your ass, right? It's a watch that dealers are happy to pay for because there's enough data. There's depreciation in terms of the secondary market, but there's enough buyers out there where really almost any dealer, right? So somebody who's buying to resell is willing to pay for them. And there's enough guys, if you want to sell them privately, there's a market for each of these watches.
Absolutely.
So it's not a watch you'll ever get stuck in if you like to trade for most of these models. I mean, even the perpetual counter, there's a lot of guys who like that watch and see it as a value play. So Duometres trade pretty regularly too. So really, everything on this table is something that if you wanted to buy it on the secondary market, you'll be able to get, say, the majority of your money back when you go to sell it either to a dealer, or probably should be able to get all your money back if you sell it to a private owner. So,
depends on when
they're easily
you bought
tradable.
it,
I mean, give yourself 3 to 6 months to move one of these privately, and you should be able to sell it almost immediately to a dealer at a large percentage of what you paid for it, a secondary market price.
They're good watches to own. They're not really going to give you any trouble. They're not finicky in any way. Some brands you own them, and you've heard us talk about like super high end brands like HYT that just end up eventually just coming in broken. They're not finicky. They're watches that even in the 37mm white gold we talked about is relatively robust. You could wear that as an everyday watch. Tim wore his Reverso number 2 Tourbillon.
That's right.
As an everyday watch for months at a time.
The crap out of that watch.
So I think it's a good play, and that's why we brought them on TV.
Yeah, man. So good, robust watches. You can very wearable, tradable, and it's a brand that probably doesn't get enough love. So when you're searching online for watches for yourself, say now in this time of the year, and all you're seeing is Rolexes for over list prices, Pateks for over list prices, and crazy prices. Look at JLC. I think it makes sense.
I want to address High Rising. Looks like his username says he went into a JLC store at Madison Square Garden dressed casual, like
Madison Avenue,
now.
not Square Garden. What are you talking about, Jason?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm reading fast. And they didn't even look at him straight. Basically, treated him like he couldn't afford the watch, I assume. We've talked about that in the past. That's, I think, kind of a stigma with some of the boutiques.
Yeah, you were one of those boutique people, weren't you?
I never worked in a boutique.
I'm pretty sure you did.
No, sir.
Jason, it's fake news you're spouting.
Should we tell everybody what we learned about the Panerai boutique and what they have to say when you walk into the... Do you want to do that?
No.
Go into a Panerai store and see what happens now.
Yeah. They'll sell you a nice watch.
Yeah. No, but you know what? That just goes to show you that maybe you shouldn't be shopping at that store.
I love Panerai.
Not Panerai, I'm saying JLC boutique. If they treat people like that long enough and they don't get the business, maybe they'll learn.
Or it could have just been
so
one boutique
I'll answer the phone
staff
with a smile.
member having a bad day.
Yeah, maybe he's we didn't talk about this.
You can talk about it, Jay.
So, our guy Harrison's dog's birthday was today. He's 1 year old, and somebody gave him this as a gift.
Oh, Poitiers,
which I thought was hysterical, and apparently
that's a Santos.
It's a
Jason. I have one of those.
It's a squeaky toy.
Jesus, don't do that. Stop.
And the dog's supposed to wear it on his wrist, I think, and chew on it. I don't understand.
My dog wears this on his neck, on his body.
But I thought it was cool.
A little baby dog.
So I put it on the show.
Cool, man. All right. Well, do we have any good questions? This was interesting. Yeah. Maybe not as interesting as Omega.
So more so. What do you guys think? Do you like the monobrand shows? Should we keep doing these? Do you think some suggestions on other brands? We talked a lot about Panerai, so I don't know that we should do Panerai right away, but we certainly could. We could do some other interesting things you don't see a lot of, like Hublot, or maybe even Rolex, I guess we could do, but we've talked a lot about Rolex. I don't know. Let us know your thoughts. If you like the show, we're happy to continue the format. Did you see any questions in there that are... No?
Someone said we just made his dog flip. That's funny.
Remember when we first started the show with Trading Desk and we had that little touch tablet that didn't work with the sounds?
No.
Yeah, it was kind of like that. All right. The guy...
Behind the camera
that
told
guy
us
wants to go home.
He's
doing this. Apparently, he's been doing that for like 30 minutes. I didn't know what he was. I thought he was listening to his iPod or something. But anyhow, all right, guys. Appreciate you tuning in on a Friday again. Hopefully, this may drive home or the end of your business day a little bit better. And you signed in for the live show, left some comments in the chat, and it wasn't a recorded commercial this time. So hopefully you liked it. Let us know your thoughts, your comments. As always, give Josh a call.
Yeah.
Your cell phone number is?
My cell phone number, 954-610-9264.
Mine is 954-261-4712. You see them at the bottom of the screen.
Yet, check us on social media. I'm on Instagram, Mr. Thanos. Very simple. My title, Mr. Last name Thanos.
Evo
you can check me out.
4B11.
Jason's got a terrible name we're not going to discuss. You can also follow us or subscribe to this channel. I think we're up to 62,000 subscribers. It's unbelievable.
Big time,
really,
guys.
just the greatest YouTube channel.
Please don't do that.
Honestly, just really the greatest. Everyone knows this. So go ahead and subscribe. Tell your friends. Tell your family, especially. They're going to be over for the holidays. So tell them. All right. You can also check us out on